Hey everybody, hope you're having a good Monday. It's really a fantastic day. I hope you got to see a little bit of that sunrise this morning. I really enjoyed it. So I drive west and you get to see it in the rearview mirror, the colors and the fact that the sun's up on my way to work. We might have actually made it through here. Nice work. I want to talk about our agenda. We've got a couple items on the consent agenda for tomorrow. Nothing super pressing. There are a couple of rezoning and a couple of reports. I know a lot of people don't want to look into these, but if you go to meeting.reddeer.ca, you can see a lot of our agenda packages. I'll throw the link in the description, or I guess in the first comment. You can take a look because I'll also describe a couple of things that are in here. And there's a lot of boring nonsense for sure. Me, I like charts, I like pictures. We can go through and you can actually see some really good reports that come out. And then it also answers a lot of questions without me spending 20 minutes as usual up here giving you information that you only make it part way through. So we got the 2 rezoning discussions, and in those rezoning discussions, actually, again, there's a really good one it starts on page 70, where it shows a really good pictograph of how the levels of governance work and then zoning and approvals. So I thought that was interesting. We've got the electrical utility annual report for council. I looked through it, looks good. The RCMP quarterly community policing report, you can see that that's actually, again, looking really quite promising. Oftentimes we get this sense that Red Deer is maybe more dangerous than other cities, but the numbers don't tell that. I also will caution, I know full well that the numbers aren't the whole story. There's safety, and then there's the perception of safety. And if you don't feel safe, then we have to do a better job of getting you comfortable. And you also can continue to ask questions, work on things, and work with us that way. So now, in the reports that are peeled out is the council budget guidelines on page 221. Now, this one is good because it gives a lot of solid explanation as to what we're targeting as council for the budget guidelines for administration. So it says administration should prepare the 2027 budget with focus on balanced tax decisions that reflect affordability and reasonable long-term financial stewardship. We have to do this. We're in this for the long haul. I got a tremendous opportunity to read to a group of grade 1s, and one of the kids asked me, what does city council do? My answer is, I want to make sure that Red Deer is a fantastic city so that when you grow up, you're going to want to stay here. You're going to want to have places to play. You're going to have places to work, and you're going to enjoy arts, culture, the whole 9 yards. In a nutshell, that is what we do. And I've always said, when I was talking to some grade 9s at St. Thomas Aquinas, the biggest thing you have to remember is no matter what you want your government to do at every level, they have to be able to afford it. Otherwise, it's going to end poorly. Somebody's going to end up paying. So we're pushing for a very balanced, very low key, nothing crazy. We want to move things and keep it moving so that you have a predictable tax increase, predictable service increase, and predictable changes. Administration should prioritize core infrastructure, funding, and life cycle investment in the budget, highlighting when risk tolerances have shifted. Administration should avoid strategies that defer financial pressures into future simply to minimize short-term rate increases. And this is where I talk about your government has to be able to afford it. I will not vote for something that just kicks the can down the road. It's irresponsible and it shows a lack of foresight, and it really plays into the mindset of political sustainability or politically driven budgets. And those are, to me, one of the worst. And I think this council has a great mindset, and administration is on board Administration should ensure reserve sustainability. Absolutely. Administration could present options that balance service levels, infrastructure, investment, and affordability considerations. We are pushing, and administration's listening. They love it. Well, I don't know. I guess I can't really speak for other people to say that they love it, but they are working with us very well. We are working in tandem. The big, well, there's a couple big issues, but one is this ground ambulance contract response to EHS. And this is on 227 of the report. We basically have been told that there's a rate change, they're going to pay less, and we have to figure it out by the end of the month. Yes, I'm oversimplifying. There's a lot of really good breakdowns out there. I know the Red Deer firefighters, I know Calvin Goulet-Jones has done a pretty good breakdown. I'm not going to haul you through that. But ultimately, to me, to say by the end of the month, what's that, 7 days, that you've got to make a decision and figure out how you're doing it is not ideal. And so we're going to work with the province, with other municipalities, and try to figure out what we can do going forward. So the proposed resolution here, to me, it's a no-brainer. We want to prop the mayor up through the office of the mayor and council to collaborate with other mayors representing integrated service delivery, because there's still quite a few in the province that do it. And we want to get an extension from March 31st to May 30th. And then that'll allow us to do some due diligence, get some reports, find out what works. I haven't even had a chance to catch up with the union executive yet. I've been trying to catch those fellas, and between my schedule, actually, it's my schedule, is really quite busy. So, guys, I am trying. I do want to get together and see how you feel about this, as well as other things. Ultimately, we're going to not push the mayor, but prop the mayor up, give her all the power and all the authority of council and all the support to go forward and get some time and make sure that we can make this decision rationally. Because rushing into a decision like this, we run the risk of potentially screwing some things up. We do have the advantage that our incredible frontline services and responders are absolutely terrific, and they're all top shelf. And there's no fear in my mind of any kind of a drop of service that they can control. And if it's something that's out of their control because we make a bad decision because we're rushed, I'm not okay with that. And I hope that everybody understands that we are working with this. We want to work with the province, and we want to figure it out. It's going to potentially be possibly a contentious issue. I'm not really sure. And then the next we have a notice of motion from Councillor Curtis, and this is regarding AISH, which is the assured income for the severely handicapped, and the ADAP, Alberta Disability Assistance Program. Those are designed that if you become disabled, the system will provide you with an income that, quite frankly, it's just not a lot. And now with the changes going into this, they really, in my mind, and again, I don't live in this world, this isn't my strong points, this is why I rely on people like Councillor Curtis to give me the background and the thoughts. And she wants to advocate to the government to pause implementation of the changes and make sure that the Alberta government takes meaningful, accessible consultation with the people with the disabilities and how they're living, and is it enough money. So the only criticism that I've heard of that so far is, should the city be getting into the province's business? And in my mind, there is a yes. We advocate to the province a lot because, quite frankly, the province funds what you need. The city doesn't have a boatload of money. The city has your money. And it's either we increase fees and taxes, which we don't want to do, or these services drop. So when the province comes in and says, oh, well, we're tightening up the budget and we're spending more in lots of good areas, don't get me wrong. I think they did a good job in healthcare, highways, infrastructure, and quite a few other really good opportunities out there. But when it comes to this is ground level where it hits the individual. And I would wager that you probably know one or two people who are on AISH or ADAP, and they just don't talk about it. It's not something that people run around saying, oh, yeah, I get this, and my life is so great. It's really a bit of a struggle. So I think, I want to listen to what everybody says, but on the surface, I'm definitely supporting Councillor Curtis. And then we have a public hearing coming up that same day, tomorrow. Sorry, I'm a little distracted. I'm just bouncing through my notes here. There's quite a few Riverside Meadows area development plan. They want to zone a property on, apologize here, I'm trying to find the address, in Riverside from low density to medium density. I'm not really seeing a big problem with that. I voted against the rezoning up in Highland Green the last time after looking through it, so I may change my mind when we get there. The reason I voted against it the last time, and it was a standalone vote against, but that's fine, I thought that in that region, there was already one medium density place across the road. This was an opportunity for somebody to essentially stuff one more unit on two lots instead of doing two duplexes. Maybe you can get 5 units in there. So I just wasn't convinced that it was needed. This one we'll take a look at and see where it goes. And then they've got 2 hectares in the Emerson neighborhood from A1I to RL, RN, and P1, PI. This is when you go to page 268 of the report, gives you a better breakdown. A lot of the zoning stuff, to me, I like to make sure that we have a good mix. We have a strategic balance. I have noticed, I'll circle back for a minute. In the consent agenda, some of them are being rezoned for new commercial spaces. Yes, I would always ask the question though, in a world where brick and mortar seems to be going away, is there any point in rezoning it without an actual plan of development and somebody sitting there with cash in their hand to develop it? Because I guess future use, sure. However, right now, could we be maybe somehow or another fostering some more medium density housing, that kind of thing? So there you have it, folks. That's my take on tomorrow. I'll be, as always, in there, paying attention, reading through. I look forward to any comments folks have in the comment section, any respectful discussions. I will highlight something that's not on the agenda, but has come up. Downtown, I've had a couple of business owners reaching out to me, and they don't feel that the quality of service is where it should be. And so they've sent, this is what I appreciate. And I'm saying I'm looking for this. Send me pictures, send me descriptions, send me emails. I can move that forward to the administration staff through the proper channels, and they can be made aware that this is what's going on and this is where the gaps are. So I always appreciate those respectful conversations and ideas and thoughts. I said this from the beginning, from the minute I started this campaign. I can't do this by myself. I'm doing this for you, so I want to do it with you. So thanks a lot, everybody. I hope you have a terrific evening, and maybe, I don't want to curse it, but maybe a nice start to the spring. Take care.